If you don't change on your own, one day God will force it on you, whether you want to or not. And that's one quote that I heard, and it kind of stuck with me. You can get to a point in your life, man, where like every day starts to feel the same. Every day feels stagnant. Every day feels like you're not really moving forward. You're just staying in the same place, getting used to the same habits, repeating the same patterns. And a lot of times, man, at least when that starts to happen to me, like I know that it can affect, let's say, my mental state. I know that it can affect my relationships with people. I know that it can affect the way I go about living my day-to-day life. I know I become more irritable. I become more angry. And the truth is, my anger stems from the fact that I'm dissatisfied with myself. Change is very important. Change isn't easy. That's why you have to put yourself in positions that force you to change. One example of that is right now. I changed my environment. I went from working at a job at a grocery store to quitting that job and doing my videography business full time. And the motivation and the energy, oftentimes when you do that, is front loaded, if you know what I mean. Like you have the most energy in the beginning. You have the most grit. You almost feel on top of the world. There's a sense of euphoria that comes from starting something new. Once, let's say, that ecstasy of change faded, now I'm left with my habits. I'm left with my thoughts. I'm left with the things that I actually have to get done. It's not enough to rely on motivation. So I became stagnant. When I was in my room, or when I would be doing my work, I'd start getting sidetracked far more easily. I would be DMing leads and then scrolling Instagram Reels the next. And I would be video editing, and then somehow I'd end up on the game. I would be brainstorming ideas for videos, brainstorming ideas for content, and then somehow I'd be laying in my bed on my phone. That motivation I got from the change was starting to deplete. So that's why I'm here right now. I'm at Boynton Beach City Hall. I was just in the library. Right now I'm outside because I thought I was going to be taking a call, but we had to reschedule that call for later. But that's one thing that I've realized that I've had to do. Force myself into positions that kind of reset my brain, reset my patterns, reset my habits. Change isn't easy. Like, the truth is, I might have gotten a certain amount of, let's say, energy from starting something new. But once that energy faded, I also started to realize that this is a change. Leaving a job that you worked at for a year, it's not that deep, but it kind of is. At least for me, whenever I change any form of, let's say, environment, I'm always super motivated at the beginning. I'm always super, let's say, elated. But after that elation kind of depletes, I'm left with a feeling of, dang, this is really my life now. This environment that I was in, these people that I was around aren't a part of my regular day-to-day anymore. And one aspect of the change that I guess I've been feeling is there's a certain sense of community you derive from being at a job, especially when you work there for a year and you were actually actively social with a lot of people who you were around. And losing that sense of community, I didn't really realize that I was at all affected by it until, let's say, a month after, when I started realizing how often I was alone. When I started realizing how different my days looked. When I started realizing that I don't have, let's say, a regular group of people that I hang around anymore. It's kind of weird to think about all this stuff. I have a very introspective mind. I think a lot, and I rarely live in the present. That's one thing that changing my environment forces me to do. Start living in the present. Even if it's for a brief little bit, let's say. But change is really interesting. It's not easy to navigate. One thing that I guess I rely on is the fact that, as simple as it is, I'm alive right now. You know what I'm saying? A lot of times I don't make decisions based off of the likelihood of success, but sometimes I make decisions based off of the likelihood that I survive. Will I survive the outcome of my decisions? Yes. And at least I made a decision, because one thing I really don't want to do is live according to my fears. So I've done it before, and it's like you're living according to the things that you're avoiding. And I won't say that I don't fall into that trap anymore at all. I definitely do sometimes, but it's something that I try to change. One second, you could be on top of the world. The other second, you could feel like under the shoe. I mean, I'm saying all this stuff. I'm not very good with change. I just force myself to do it. It's not something I don't struggle mentally with. So I don't even know what this video is about. Guess I just felt like opening my camera. But anyways, bye guys.
Yo, wanna hop in the video? I'll give you the mic.
I have seen you grow so much over like the year that I've known you. I think that there's like a certain maturity that you have added to yourself, not just like, you know, like how you carry yourself too, but more of like creatively. You have aged so much, especially with your ambitions, your goals, and you don't have that little fear that your younger you had. I would say you're a lot more expressive, and I know that you're going to be something greater than what you are now.